I want to thank God for being able to get up here one more time. That He chose for me to be here. Not that I chose to be here, but, God chose me to be here.
We're going to go to Matthew chapter 16. We'll start at verse 1. The Pharisees also with the Sadducees came, and tempting, desired him that he would show them a sign from heaven. He answered and said unto them, When it is evening, ye say, It will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. O ye hypocrites, ye can discern the face of the sky, but can ye not discern the signs of the times?
As God had dealt with me, He gave me that word, time. And as I sat down and thought about that word, time, and I got to looking how many things has come to pass that says it's going to come to pass before the end is here, and as I looked at that, look how many things has happened. I've seen them, but what did I? Didn't I seen them, but I let them roll off my back like water on a duck's back. But as God dealt with me on time, these things are coming to pass because there's going to come a time that there will be no more working. Who's in is in and who's out is out. And no man knows that hour. But as I thought of about this time, and I'd seen a video, and it was a guy in Tennessee. He was just talking about God up and down the side of the street there. And he done it for 10 minutes. And you wouldn't believe the things that people said to him. And everything he said was nothing mean. He just said, you need to repent from your wicked ways and turn to God. Everything he told them was the truth. But they said things to him that you wouldn't even believe. And in 10 minutes, you know how many people was walking in the streets of Tennessee in 10 minutes? There's a lot of people walks up and down that street in 10 minutes. And out of 10 minutes, one couple said, God bless you. And there was probably hundreds of people that walked past him. I've walked a sinner's life. But I never, I always had respect for people that served God, because I know that I needed to be there, but I chose not to be there. But I sure wouldn't have never said nothing to them out of the way, because I had the fear of God. People don't have fear of God in these days. I mean, if you heard some of the things that people said to that man, and at the end, they called the law on him, and the law come in there and made him quit. He wasn't out there with a microphone. He was using his voice. And that's what he asked the law. He said, well, I'm just using my voice. I'm not out here trying to cause trouble or nothing, But, they made him quit. That shows you what kind of time we're living in. And the things that you see going on, I can't see that this world's got much longer in it, because I can't see God taking it much longer. I mean, It's all evil. And it's all about self anymore. If they don't gain something from it, then they're not interested in it. But if people would realize what they got to gain by just giving it over, a lot more than they're ever going to gain in this earth. You know, one time I think it was Jen that preached a message on the string that, you know, do you want to live comfortable in this one little short piece, or, you know, the rest of the string was in heaven. I mean, look what you got to gain.
Amen.
But as you see these times are coming, I'm going to go on.
We're going to Matthew chapter 24. I'll start at verse 1. And Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple. And Jesus said unto them, See ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming, and the end of the world? Jesus answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, and pestilence, and earthquakes in divers places. All these things are the beginning of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another.
How many of these things that was said there have you already seen? I mean, it's everywhere. And I mean, it's not hidden. I mean, I don't even watch the news, and I can still see, you know. But each and every one of these things is coming. Is already come. So, I mean, that it could be any day. But you know, as I thought about that, I thought about, you know, if the weatherman tells you that there's a tornado coming, what do? If you've got a place to go, you're going to get to it. You're going to get prepared for that. Well, you know, we're being told to get prepared for it because it's winding down. Yeah, I've wasted a lot of time. I'll preach on myself. I've wasted a lot of time. But it's time for me to start preparing. And as I was sitting there and I was thinking about the time, it had kind of switched around on me a little bit there. And if you put a cake in the oven for it says 20 minutes. And the 20 minutes is up and you say, well, I'll get that cake in a few minutes. That cake is no good. Because I didn't get up and get that cake when it was supposed to. I ruined the cake. And as I began to think about that, I thought about it was You know, when God gives you somebody on your heart to pray for them at that time. But also, I'm bad for wanting to fix things. You know, God has a time to fix things. Just because you see something broken don't mean you can go fix it at that time. Because God might, somebody might be going through something that God's got to bring them down a little lower. You know, we don't see the whole picture, but He does. But just because you see something broken don't mean you can run and fix it at that time. And maybe that job ain't for you. Maybe that job's for somebody else. That's why it's important to be in tune with God and to do it as He says do it. Because, look at Mary and Joseph. If he hadn't have obeyed when they said to leave, then what would have happened? Where would this world be at today? You know, that whole thing was laid in one hand. And it was all in time. You know, what if he would have said, well, I'll leave next week. I've got things going on. I've got to get this. But no, he chose to leave when God told him to leave. And everything worked out for the good. But time is an important thing. And we don't have long to, I don't believe we have long left to work. So we've got to be in tune with God for these people because there's going to come a day that we're not going to be able to help them at any time. Because when God lifts His Spirit from the Gentiles, we better be ready. But no matter what situation these people are in, God can work it for them. He can get them right where they need to be. Because I've seen times that you could have come to me and I wouldn't listen to you. I would have pushed you away. I might not have said it to your face, but I would have just pushed you out. And I don't want to be somebody that pushes somebody farther down. I want to be in time. That way I can lift them up at a time that they're needed lifted up. I thank God that God sent somebody by my way at that time. At just the right time, because, I'd been around a lot of people that had wanted to talk about, God to me, but I know where I was at wasn't right. I was raised different than that. But it wasn't my time. So the point of today's message is just watch and listen. Amen. And to move when God says move. To pray when God says pray, because there might not be another opportunity to pray for that person. Just because you got it right now don't mean that you'll have it in 5 minutes. Because we have no promise, none of us, to make it back out them doors. We live like we do. But more than likely, anybody in here, if you ask them if we're going to make it out in the parking lot, we're going to believe we are. But we don't have that promise to make it back out there in that parking lot. That's how important it is when God lays somebody on your heart to pray. Pray then. Not wait. No matter what you're doing. Because you can pray and no matter where you're at. push the things of this world back for them. But let's just remember to just listen and obey and pray and to watch, because like I said, I don't see how God can take it much longer of what people is doing in this wicked world. I mean, that video really done something. When I seen that, I know there was a lot of cruel things going on in the world, but just to see them people to talk to him that way, just for him trying to help them. I mean, they and like I said, there was hundreds of people past him. I don't know exactly the number, and only one couple said, "God bless you." And it was an older couple, because they growed up in a time that feared God. The new generation don't fear God. Lord, half of your generation probably don't even know what God is. It's a name to them. It's left up to us to make him more than a name. Because some of these people might not never get a chance other than us. But let's just remember today to watch and pray and listen. Well, I'll find us a place to pray.